Chief Edward Abara, a wealthy businessman and patriarch of the Abara family, was a man admired for his discipline, wealth, and legacy. When he passed away unexpectedly, his family gathered at the Grand Abara estate for the reading of his will. Little did they know, his death would uncover a web of secrets that would threaten to destroy their family bonds. The Abara estate was a blend of old and new modern architecture intertwined with ancestral artifacts. The family sat in the expansive living room. Daniel, Edward's eldest son and heir apparent, clad in a majestic agbada with golden embroidery. Ruby, the youngest and rebellious artist of the family, stood apart in her bold red Ankara dress, and Clara, Edward's second wife, radiated authority in her elaborate lace attire. The lawyer's voice broke the tension. According to Chief Edward Abara's will, his estate is to be divided equally among his children, including Vanessa Awo. The room fell silent. The name Vanessa was foreign to everyone, but Ruby, who tensed visibly. "Who is Vanessa?" Daniel demanded, his voice laced with anger. Before the lawyer could respond, the door opened. A woman in her late 30s stepped in, her simple blouse and jeans contrasting sharply with the family's opulence. "I am Vanessa," she said. "Chief Edwards was my father." The room erupted into chaos. Daniel shot to his feet, pointing an accusing finger at the lawyer. "This is preposterous. My father would never hide a child." Ruby stepped forward, trying to calm the storm. "I met Vanessa yesterday. She's telling the truth." Clara turned to Ruby. "You knew about this, and you didn't tell us." Ruby's voice rose. "I didn't know until recently, and I thought it was his responsibility to explain." Vanessa, clutching a small leather bag, opened it and pulled out a locket. She held it up for all to see. Inside was a picture of Edward and an engraving. "To Vanessa, my daughter, my regret, my redemption." The lawyer explained that Edward had written letters explaining Vanessa's existence. Years ago, he had an affair, and Vanessa was born from it. Out of guilt and fear of disrupting his family, he supported her in secret but kept her hidden. Daniel refused to accept it. "This is a disgrace. She is after the money, nothing more." Vanessa's voice trembled, but her words were firm. "I didn't come here for money. I came to understand the man who never wanted to claim me." Clara, setting spat. "Edward was a fool for thinking this wouldn't destroy us." Ruby stepped forward, her voice steady despite the tension. "Enough! We have all made mistakes, but this isn't about us. It's about facing the truth." Daniel stormed out of the room, slamming the door behind him. Ruby followed, leaving Clara and Vanessa in uncomfortable silence. That night, Daniel paced angrily in Edward's study, the dim light casting shadows on the room's rich mahogany shelves and ancestral carvings. His eyes landed on an old journal tucked away in a drawer. He hesitated before opening it, but what he found changed everything. The journal contained Edward's deepest thoughts. One entry read, "To my family, I have made choices I regret, But my greatest legacy is not my wealth. It's the love and forgiveness I hope you can find for one another. Daniel returned to the living room the next morning, visibly shaking. He looked at Vanessa, who sat quietly with Ruby by her side. "Vanessa," he began, his voice softer. "I don't know if I can forgive my father for keeping this from us, but I want to start over. You deserve a chance to be part of this family." Vanessa's eyes welled with tears. "Thank you, that's all I ever wanted." Clara, who had remained guarded, sighed deeply. "Edward made mistakes, but maybe it's time we all let go of the past and move forward." The family sat together for the first time in years, not as rivals, but as fractured units, slowly piecing itself back. As the family reconciled, Ruby reflected, "Families are complicated. They are messy and painful, but they are also worth fighting for. The truth can tear us apart, but is also what sets us free." The Abara family learned that legacies aren't about wealth or power, but the bond we choose to rebuild.